job. Today's vlog is starting at the park. It's about 45 degrees, which is nice here. And no wind, so you know what that means. Epic fail. I'm trying to recalibrate the gimbal so that we can actually film, and it's not recalibrating. Hopefully, maybe I'll take it home, plug it in, try a few things, and hopefully get it to work. But I apologize. No drone footage here. It's hard coming to the park with the kids and vlogging equipment and a dog, all like trying to keep track of all of it at once. See, I have the dog attached to my foot so she doesn't go running off. And then what are you doing? See what I'm saying? Jules, what are you doing?
Jules, get on the back.
And if for some reason it isn't letting me recalibrate it.
That's weird.
Yeah. Needless to say, this was a failed park excursion.
No, it's just an adventure. We're still having fun.
I guess, yeah. Just had to grab a couple things out of the office and then we'll gonna head out. But let's chat about today's passage. Today is day 261, and we are beginning the New Testament. You know, as I was reading, it's Luke chapter 1, and then the first 14 verses in John 1. I was immediately surprised and encouraged by how similar, in terms of like the historical narrative aspect, the New Testament and the Old Testament are in terms of comparison. And that's significant to me because there often tends to be this massive divide between the two testaments, but they work together, they coincide together. It's not like there's the Old Testament, once we arrive to the New, we completely disregard it. They work together. In Luke 1, we see this is the historical narrative of the conception and birth of John the Baptist, as well as the conception of Jesus in the angel revealing himself to Zechariah, as well as Mary. And then in this chapter we have Mary's praise to the Lord as it's revealed to her that she's carrying the Messiah. Once John is born and Zechariah confirms that his name is John, then Zechariah prophesies. And remember, he's been mute the entire time because of his lack of belief. And as he believes and says, yes, his name is John, then he gets his voice back. And the first thing he does when he's able to speak is he prophesies over this child as being the messenger of the coming Messiah. And the reason why the first 14 verses of John chapter 1, are tied with today's reading is because it really is a summation in terms of the theology of the over 70 verses that make up the first chapter of Luke's Gospel. And it's going to be important moving forward, especially as we are kind of jumping in and around the Gospels to see those first 4 verses of Luke's Gospel. He gives us a clear indication as to why he's writing this. He's writing this to Theophilus. We don't know who this is. It could literally be someone whose name is Theophilus, which means a lover of God, or it could refer to a group or a type of alias to conceal someone's identity. But he writes to him to reassure him of the things that he has been taught, that indeed Jesus is true, he is the Messiah, and everything that he did and everything around what is said about him is true. And as we're going through these chapters, I just couldn't help but be so encouraged by Luke chapter 1, verse 37. For nothing is impossible with God. Now this verse is one of those like t-shirt theology or bumper sticker theology passages where we kind of take one verse, we pull it out of context, and we throw it on all these different things because it sounds really cool and it's a really neat idea. And there might not be nothing necessarily wrong with that initially, but we have to look at it in the context. You know, it would be tempting to apply this to certain aspect of my life, like nothing is impossible for God, which is true. So because of that, therefore, God, it's not impossible for you to give me lots of money. So I'm going to trust in that. But when God doesn't give me lots of money, then all of a sudden my belief in God begins to crumble. So we have to look at it in its context. And the impossible work that God does in this context is he is doing what no human being could ever do, what no law could ever do, and that's save humanity from death, from sin. It is an impossible thing for man to be able to save himself from his sinfulness, from death. So only God could come in and do what is impossible, and he does it through bringing the Messiah via a virgin that would ultimately die on the cross, and his death on the cross would be enough for anyone who would trust and believe in him as their Lord and Savior. And it's good that when it comes to salvation, that we are reminded of the vastness and the difficulty and the impossibility that is entailed in that work. But yet God does it. And because of that, God does what is impossible. Now we are headed to dinner at a restaurant called Point Loma.
La Loma.
Oh, what was it?
La Loma.
La Loma, in which it will be our first dining in experience as a family in quite some time due to COVID restrictions. Justice, what's the verdict on the chips and salsa? How do they taste?
Good.
Good? Are they spicy? No? So pretty.